Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be breaking down my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2023. Let's get into it. Now, 2023 is set to be an insanely stacked year when it comes to movies. There are so many good movies coming out, both original works as well as sequels. This list was extremely hard to make, so let's start off with some honorable mentions. First, we've got some Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Wonka, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Super Mario Bros. These all came super close to edging some other movies out in the top 10, but just didn't quite make my list. They all look excellent, whether that's a trailer has been released for them or on paper. These are movies that I'm still really excited about, but just didn't quite make the top 10 cut. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting us off at number 10, we've got Magic Mike: The Last Dance. Nah, I'm just messing with you. At number 10, we've got The Flash. Now, if you would have asked me a year ago, this would have been so much higher on my list. Maybe a little more than a year ago. When the project was first announced, I was beyond stoked. Flash is one of my favorite characters, and specifically Flashpoint is one of my favorite stories of the Flash. I don't read a whole lot of comics, but Flashpoint is one that I definitely have. It's one of my favorites. There's a lot of nuances to it, and a lot of complications that bring some really interesting features into the story. So when I heard that they were going to be making a movie version, I was beyond excited. Since then, there has been a lot of controversy around this movie, and it looks like the DCEU, as we know it, is no more. Recently, James Gunn has come in and started hacking and slashing. This will probably be a movie that doesn't really tie into anything else in the future. If you're wanting to reboot the DCEU, if that's something James Gunn is wanting to do, the story of Flashpoint provides a really good diving board to be able to do that. I don't think that they will, considering the movie comes out in about 5 or 6 months. They just don't realistically have the time to do reshoots and do all the editing work for that. I don't know that you could execute it maybe as well as you'd want to. But overall, I am still excited to see The Flash on the big screen. I'm just not as excited as I used to be, given that there's not really anywhere to go with this story. At number 9, we have Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I am a big Indiana Jones fan. I grew up loving Indiana Jones, but there's just... I don't even have the words for it. The fourth Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, just was so beyond bizarre that it makes me hard to get really, really excited for a fifth movie. I guess we're just supposed to pretend like that never happened and just move on. Given that I love Indiana Jones, I am excited to see the fifth movie, but it does look like it lacks some focus. I am excited, but I'm also just very hesitant. I don't want to go in with really high expectations and come out really disappointed. At number 8, we've got Beau is Afraid. Now, this is a movie that admittedly I don't know a whole lot about. I know it's directed by Ari Aster, who directed Hereditary as well as Midsommar, and it's starring Joaquin Phoenix. And of course, anything with Joaquin Phoenix is just going to be excellent. So I'm excited just for that aspect. But Hereditary and Midsommar are two great horror thriller movies of the last, 5 or so years. I have seen the trailer. The trailer doesn't give us a whole lot of information about the story. I don't know what's going on in the story, but it looks wild as hell, and I am here for it. This is maybe an underdog that not too many people know about right now, but I'm super excited for it and excited to see the ride that it takes me on. Now, is it just me, or do you guys also feel like there have been a lot of biopic films in recent years? I feel like that genre is just kind of picking up. Because at number 7, we have Ferrari. Now, this is a story by Michael Mann, who is co-writing and directing this film, starring Adam Driver as Enzo Ferrari. Now, I will say I am really excited about this movie, mostly because of Adam Driver. He does excellent in everything that he does, but he especially knocks it out of the park in his biopic movies that he's done in the past. So I have no doubt that he will really bring the performance here. The early set photos that have been leaked, he looks excellent. He has a haircut, which I don't know that we've seen on him before. He's got pretty short gray hair, and it just looks excellent. I'm really excited. I don't know a whole lot else about the film, which is why this isn't higher than it is, and excited to learn more about Ferrari in general. I don't know a lot about the company, about Enzo Ferrari himself or the background. Now, number 6 is probably going to be a surprise to a lot of you. It was a surprise added kind of last minute to my top 10 as I was doing research about the movies coming out, and that would be Gran Turismo. Turismo? I don't know. I've never played the game. That's one thing that I don't know a whole lot about Gran Turismo. But I am excited, and here's why you probably should be too. There is a lot of potential coming out of this film. The writers that have gotten together to write this film are best known for writing American Sniper, King Richard, and most recently helped with Creed 3, which is still unreleased to come later this year. The director, interestingly enough, is best known for sci-fi work. He's worked on Elysium and Chappie, and I believe District 9 as well. All movies that are much more focused in the science fiction realm. So I am interested to see what he does with the more grounded film. Obviously, this isn't entirely realistic. I think it's going to be focused on a professional video game player who then wants to go be a real-life professional racer and kind of that journey. The other potential comes from the cast. This is going to be starring Orlando Bloom and David Harbour, both of which are just incredible actors. I don't know that I've seen Orlando Bloom on screen in quite a while, at least not that I can remember in recent memory, so I'm excited to see him back on the big screen. And again, I'm just a huge fan of David Harbour. I don't know much about this Gran Turismo. I haven't played the game. That's not why I'm excited about it. I'm mostly excited because there is a lot of potential in the writer's room, in the cast. And I'm interested to see how the director takes this story in a more grounded aspect than he's used to. I just think that will be an interesting take on the movie. Moving into our top 5, these are all movies that I am fairly confident I will love no matter what. Not trying to get my hopes up, just movies that I can just tell. You know, starting us off at number 5, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. James Gunn obviously took a very big shift after this project. This is his last MCU project that he will have led, but I am so excited to see how he finishes this trilogy up. I remember seeing trailers for the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I didn't know anything about the team at the time, and I thought it looked like the dumbest movie I had ever seen. I had no interest in watching it. It wasn't until I had probably 10 friends tell me it was such an excellent movie that I decided to give it a try, and I'm glad I was. It remains my favorite group of characters in the MCU to this day. They're such a fun team. I love that they have their own team outside of the Avengers, and I just love the dynamic between them. Obviously, this looks to be a much more emotional movie than the prior 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies have been. As we come to a close, I know a lot of people have speculated about certain characters and who may die and who may not. But overall, I've always loved the humor that James Gunn brought, even though I didn't love the second Guardians of the Galaxy quite as much as the first one. I still really enjoy the humor. I love the style. Obviously, the music lends a great big hand to that style. Excited to hear the music. Excited to see it all just come together. I am absolutely thrilled for this movie. At number 4, we have Oppenheimer. Now, this should be an indication to you of just how stacked 2023 really is when it comes to movies. Any other year, a Christopher Nolan movie would likely be my most anticipated movie of the year. I am a Nolan fanboy, loud and proud. This is the other biopic film on my list as we follow Oppenheimer in the recreation, I guess, the creation of the first atomic bomb. This is not a traditional Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan is typically what I consider a concept director. He chooses to focus on concepts rather than characters, and he's one of the only directors that I know that has been able to pull that off. Traditionally, you need really good, really gripping characters to pull people into your movies. And this is his first time really attempting to sit down and explore a character. Obviously, there's still some aspect of the concept there, the concept being the first nuclear bomb, but we're definitely exploring the character a lot more than any of his previous movies. In fact, Christopher Nolan goes so far in some of his movies to just not give his characters a name. In Dunkirk, none of the characters are named, and I think that's actually a really good thing for the movie. I can talk about that in another video if you'd like, but Tenet is another one where the main character is never given a name. He is the protagonist, and that's because Christopher Nolan wants the focus to be the concepts of the movie. Really excited for this film. It'll be interesting to see his take on character and character development, given that's not typically his strength. A really intriguing switch for him, and I'm excited to see what it brings. At number 3, we have Barbie. Now, this movie looks like so much fun. I don't know any other way to describe it. This movie is directed by Greta Gerwig, who is best known for her work on Lady Bird, as well as Little Women, both of which incredible movies, highly awarded in the film industry. She's got a lot of talent. As we get closer to its release date, I get more and more excited. The cast looks absolutely packed. We've got Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling starring, and we've got some other incredible talent showing up in the movie. It looks so stylistic. It almost reminds me of a Damien Chazelle movie in that kind of way. Just big, bold colors, just very party-esque, and just... I don't even have the words. The music from the trailer sounds fun as hell. I mean, it feels like it's gonna bring the punch, and I'm ready to get hit. At number 2, we have Dune Part 2. I loved the first Dune so much. It gave me a lot of hope as an avid reader. Epic sci-fi and fantasy books can have good, true, realistic, and good-looking adaptations in movie form. We've seen that they can work on the TV screen. That's traditionally where I think they work the best, because in epics, they're so long with characters that are so deep, and I just think the TV format works better for those stories. Dune is able to bring forth a really good presentation of the book, and it's really true to its themes and everything that goes along with it. Obviously, Hans Zimmer's score is fantastic. Denis has done an amazing job with the first part. Pacing was incredible. The politics going on behind the scenes was well represented without being obvious. And just the style, the visuals looked fantastic. The desert looked just so foreboding, mysterious, while also bringing an element of curiosity, I think that we need and that is present in the book. Really excited to see Paul's journey as he continues into the desert. Timothée Chalamet knocked it out of the park. I'm excited to see more of the dynamic between him and Zendaya, considering she didn't get much screen time in the first part. I'm assuming Hans Zimmer is doing the score again for the second part. And overall, if it's as good as the first one, sign me up, because that's all I need. And finally, in first place, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an excellent movie. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first installment, was phenomenal. I know that there's been a lot of conversation going around recently. Oh, is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, is it overrated? It is not. Okay, this movie is excellent. It's one of the only movies I've seen to be able to pull off multiple character arcs excellently. The themes are excellent. The visual stylization is what initially drew me into the movie, but it ended up being so much more than that. The story was tight, it was focused. I'm so looking forward to Across the Spider-Verse. I'm excited to see all the spiders involved. If anybody can pull off a larger scaled movie, considering they're going into the Spider-Verse and there's going to be so many more spiders, if anyone can do it, it's this team. I'm just along for the ride on this one. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching the video and sticking around. I'm really interested in hearing what movies are you guys most excited for. I know there's a lot of movies I didn't cover in this video, and that's just because there's so many great movies coming out this year. I just couldn't fit them all in. I could talk for days and days about this stuff, as you all know, but let me know, what are you most excited for? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything on my list that you think will flop? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Keep it respectful in the comment section, please. If you haven't already, hit the like on the video. Subscribe to my channel for more content like this. That way you get notified when I post videos. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.